You're watching South Asia Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 28th of September. India imposes curfew in strife-hit areas of Manipur state. Sindhi, Baloch and Pashtun activists highlight Pakistani atrocities at UN. And IMF bailout to Sri Lanka may face delay after review sees revenue shortfall. And now for all the details. Authorities in India's Manipur on Thursday imposed curfew in state capital Imphal and some other areas after scores of students were injured in violence following protests against the alleged abduction and murder of 2 students. Members of the students' families and Meitei leaders have accused Kuki militants of the latest killing and criticized authorities for failing to end the violence. Chief Minister N. Singh has denounced the alleged murder and vowed maximum punishment for the culprits.
After वो सीन देखने के बाद में हम लोग को बहुत दुखी हुआ है और हाईली कंडेमनेबल एक्ट है तो जो कुकी मिलिटेंट ने किया है पब्लिक को मणिपुर प्रजा को ये वाचन देता हूँ कि जो कल्प्रिट है जो मर्डरर है उसको हम सजा देंगे ही देंगे.
Since the violence first erupted on May 3, more than 180 people have been killed and over 50,000 have fled their homes in Manipur. More than half the state's population of 3.2 million belongs to the Meitei community, while the Kuki community, who make up about 43%, live mostly in the hills. Admitting the role of Pakistan Army in the country's politics, caretaker Prime Minister Anwaarul Kakar has said the military will continue to have a say in political affairs unless civilian institutions are strengthened. Talking to Turkish agency TRT World, Kakar said the political leadership has to rely on military for functional governance, including sectors like hospitals and education, as the civilian institutions have consistently performed poor in past few decades. A coup-prone nation, Pakistan has been ruled by its military for nearly half of its 70-plus years of existence, and the army has wielded considerable power in the matters of security and foreign policy. However, it denies any interference in politics. Meanwhile, Sindhi, Baloch and Pashtun activists highlighted atrocities by Pakistani state and its army during the intervention at the UNHRC session in Geneva this week and urged the world body to intervene. A report.
Political activists from Sindh, Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa highlighted Pakistan's human rights violations during the ongoing UNHRC session in Geneva on Wednesday. They raised concern over systematic discrimination and subjugation of rights of ethnic and religious minorities and urged the world body to intervene.
Sindhi Hindus now face multifaceted state-sanctioned attacks. These include forced conversion, around 20 girls per month, mostly minor girls, desecration of places of worship, attacks on their properties and businesses, blasphemy charges and abductions carried out by the bandit gangs, including children, girls and elderly.
While Doa Jafari of Pashtun Tahaffuz movement raised a systematic use of torture by Pakistan Army on the Pashtun activist, Baloch activist Munir Mengal put a spotlight over China's expansionist agenda in Balochistan and Pakistan's complicity in the wake of the China-Pakistan economic corridor.
Around 15 to 18,000 Chinese are in Balochistan, posing a detrimental unemployment crisis of Balochs and making them endure hardship and suffering on daily basis. The hard truth is that Pakistan's complacency in keeping Balochs marginalized and brutally suppressing their voices, and there has been little done to uphold Pakistan accountable.
The IMF delegation head Peter Breuer on Wednesday informed that the global lender did not reach a staff-level agreement with Sri Lanka in its first review under a $2.9 billion bailout package due to a potential shortfall in government revenue generation. Speaking after a 2-week visit to the country, Breuer said a second tranche of about $330 million under a lending program would only be released after the IMF reaches the agreement, and there was no fixed timeline for that. The IMF said Sri Lanka would need to strengthen tax administration and actively eliminate tax evasion to increase revenues and signal better governance.
Inflation is down from a peak of 70% to today 1.3%, and gross international reserves increased by $1.5 billion between March and June this year. And shortages of essentials discussions are ongoing, and the authorities are continuing to make progress on their plans for revenue mobilization targets, anti-corruption efforts, and other important.
The additional measures to improve revenue are likely to be taken in the upcoming budget in mid-November. Moving on, Nepal's Supreme Court in a verdict this week declared triple talaq, a practice under the Sharia law in the Muslim community, as illegal. The ruling emerged from a case involving polygamy, local media reports suggested. The apex court also referred to a precedent set by India's Supreme Court, which had deemed triple talaq arbitrary and illegal. Regarding divorce in the Islamic community, the Nepalese law does not recognize it, as the unified law applies to all communities and sects. The court stated that there is no exemption for second marriages when they are not recognized by the law. The divorce has traditionally been the prerogative of the husband among the Muslim community. And showcasing its defense capabilities, the Indian Navy this week revealed 2 MQ-9B Predator drones in Tamil Nadu state. The Predator drone has been developed by General Atomics and is being predominantly used by the Navy in the Indian Ocean region. Both of India's traditional adversaries, China and Pakistan, have sophisticated air defense systems that can limit the use of the drones along India's land borders. The Indian Navy has leased 2 unarmed drones since November 2020 for surveillance. Earlier this year, India made a decision to buy 31 drones for General Atomics worth slightly over $3 billion.
The MQ-9B aircraft has an endurance of 30 plus hours and can fly at altitude up to 40,000 feet. Additionally, the aircraft also needs minimum maintenance requirements. These capabilities have enabled Indian Navy to deploy the aircraft for prolonged durations at extended ranges.
Devotees in India sang and danced as they carried idols of Hindu god of prosperity, Lord Ganesha, for immersion on Thursday, symbolizing a ritual seeing off of the deity. Amid chants of Ganpati Bappa Moria, thousands of devotees participated in the procession for immersion of famed Lal Bagh Raja in Mumbai city. Similar scenes were seen in different parts of India as devotees celebrated the end of festivities by daubing each other playfully with crimson hues. The immersion ceremony, known as Visarjan, marks the culmination of 10-day-long Ganesh Chaturthi festival and signifies divine entities returning to their abodes after being the guest of the devotees.
हमने 10 दिन तक बाप्पा की बहुत भावपूर्वक सेवा चाकरी की है और आज बाप्पा जा रहे हैं, हमको बहुत मन दुख हो रहा है और हम ऐसा सोच रहे हैं कि बाप्पा अगले साल जल्दी वापस आए और हम फिर से उत्सव की तैयारी करें.
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.